I cannot believe it's been a month since our last hunt out here on Aurora Shores. The fixation on Nez Perce Valley when Showstopper showed up got real, but I'm really excited to be back out here after adding some trophies to our Nez Perce and Transylvania lodges. It's made me want to get some 5 stars here on Aurora Shores, particularly species that we don't have that much more. And there's things such as this guy that we've been keeping a fairly close eye on, a 3-star mature moose, and he was already a 3-star mature with like a kind of darker coat, so he's obviously aged and not gone up in star rating. But that's going to be one of the main goals today, is just kind of walking around, getting re-familiarized with the map, and who knows what's out here at this stage. It's been so long since we've hunted here, there might be something on the brink that might age by the time we're done. And it's stuff like this that is why I wanted to get back out here. We've got a 3-star adult wood bison. Now, I should actually point out, we're not on the dev build. There are albino... Wait a minute. We have 2 3-star adults? This has incredible potential in this herd, but there are albino wood bison and melanistic Alaska moose in the dev build, and they're eventually going to come to the live game. And I really wanted to just... Any progress we made, I wanted it to be on our main save and for it to count. So I didn't want to go there, but there is, in the patch notes, changes to large animal and predator life cycles, so I don't know what's going to happen with these, and I almost want to just really hit Aurora Shores hard before that update, and age these guys hopefully up to 5-star, because who knows, the way they change it, that could kind of mess stuff up. But I do want to try to take something from this herd and try to benefit the future offspring, and I think between the 2 1-star adults, this one should be okay to take. He's kind of more of a brown color, so I think he's an older adult, and probably we want to see 2-star by then. So we've got the 338 Lapua, but in this instance, probably doesn't really matter what we have. No angle other than a headshot, but that's going to get him down. And I will be intrigued to see what his genetic potential is, but just because of the coloration, because he's kind of a similar color to those 3-star adults, I think he's likely to be 50-60%. And I suppose to elaborate on why I'd like to just kind of get those other bison to their peak age and hopefully take them out as 5 stars, that's a 76%. That's actually a good sign that he's probably a lower end one. Those guys should be pretty good, but basically, if they're changing the life cycles, and say they change the max age from, if we look in the encyclopedia, what is now, I think, 22 or something like that, it is, at the moment, 22 years old. So let's say they change it down to like 15. If they then just cap the age of 15, it might kind of screw up things that are already on the map. I imagine they'd balance it out all correctly, but I really don't want to risk what should be 2 future 5 stars. Now, bison are, I believe, one of 4 new big game species that we have not shot a 5-star up yet, and probably the most obvious one is caribou. We've had a bunch of 4 stars, a bunch that we spent a long time watching that just unfortunately don't get there. And this was one of the locations where we had a 4-star. So we've got the 308 monoblock for our medium game rifle today, and that was a very obvious uneven 1-star young. So that will help in taking him out. We don't have to track him when he drops probably 10 meters from where we shot him, so that'll help. And just slowly chipping away at every herd that's got subpar genetics in hopes of one of them turning up with a good one. But 57%, obviously not going to get it done. And it is, by the way, a little after 1 o'clock, actually even after 1:30 now in game, so the next probably hour or so will likely be slow. I figured we might as well go up into the mountains. We should at least be able to see mountain goats, things like that, a little more easily than we would maybe see caribou and things resting down in these trees. So we'll spend some time up there, hopefully get into the evening feed time, and go from there. I think we may have just rediscovered a herd that I was really confused about. A 4-star caribou up there that does not look like that silvery gray that they get their very last year or so. I think he's got some time left. So we had like a couple of 2-star adults, and when we first encountered them, they were just down here at this lake, and I've never been able to find them since. Maybe that was like a rarely used zone, because that's pretty encouraging. There's another, 3-star in there. I don't know if that guy's kind of uneven there, so why don't we go ahead and take that? And once we get through this evening feed time, and it's a while away, I'll be intrigued to see if things actually age when we rest the next day. Who knows what we might have, but I do want to see, he is kind of more that silvery color, so I don't know if the 3-star makes it, but that 4-star might legit be the one. And what's so interesting about just finding them that way is that we were going the other way, heading to a moose zone. I don't even know why we have this, but there's this moose rest zone way up here, and it is rest time. So I just wanted to go and see what was at it, and just kind of on our way there, turned around, and there's a couple of really nice caribou. It sounds like they're running back down the hill at us, but I don't think we're going to shoot any more from there. Maybe though when we rest, that could get us what we're after. We'll see. I will say it does appear as though our crazy mountain goat luck has maybe cooled off a little bit. Nothing but 1-stars in this herd anyway, and this at least was the area that we had multiple 5-stars all back to back, but we'll try to get that 1-star adult. That's not always a safe bet with mountain goats. They absolutely can be 1-star adult and still be really high genetic potential, but he doesn't look that big, and I'm gonna say that angle with the 308 should be doable. That's him kind of going a bit of a different direction than the rest, and we can see pink blood, but that's another kind of indicator. If they run like a weird direction, a lot of times that's also indicative of a decent hit, but he should drop in sight and prevent any tracking time loss. And while we're at it, we've got a 2-star mature caribou up here as well. This, I think, is primary habitat for them because it's mountains and highland forest, but I've never seen a decent caribou in this area. The cool thing about Aurora Shores, and one reason that I've really enjoyed it so much, is almost entirely public land. The only private is, of course, the rainforest in the southeast, so you don't have, like, pockets of really high genetic potential animals like Diamond Drill on Nez Perce Valley, and it kind of makes it more interesting where you see the big animals pop up. It seems like there's a lot more variety from one person's map to the next. As for up here, though, we've got our 1-star adult goat that was a 43%. Not sure if we could really tell with the size of the horns. They did look smaller, so maybe there's something there. And we know our caribou's not going to be anything crazy. And while he may not be anything all that crazy, at least he's helping us to pass time and maybe work on the general genetics in this area. We got a heart shot there somehow? Right across the top of the heart, I guess. Not a bad deal. He was a 65%, so not terrible. But it is like 3 p.m., so not long we should be able to drop back down into the lower elevations to catch animals feeding. You know, that's kind of cool. We've got a 3-star mature up here and some definitely less impressive ones. A couple of 2-stars and a 1-star mature. This herd, when we first kind of got started hunting in this area, only ever produced 1-star matures, and frankly, I had all but given up on it. Now, I don't think that guy's gonna have a chance of getting the 5-star. He is fairly brown though. So 4 is, I would say, a definite. And we ought to check here, but it would be really cool. I actually just noticed it too going up into this area. This is highland forest. Again, it's caribou primary habitat. We just haven't seen any really good ones, but I don't know that we ever shot better than maybe a 2-star mature here, and like I said, that guy's going past 3, I believe. And just to see, this guy we right lung shot, and he's 57%, so still nothing crazy. Definitely I wouldn't expect that 3-star to get to 5 just based on the fact that a 2 is still barely above 50. But you never know, one can still be especially high, and maybe if we keep on, you know, shooting the lower genetic males in those herds over and over, it might get to something. Oh, that's a big elk. We had a warning call, and I decided to just do a high fitness call in case, because we're down on the southeast island. That could be a 5-star. I could also see it being like a big 4. That is a 5-star. In the most random of places, I wanted to go and look for sitka deer, and this is going to be a close range shot. If we had the crossbow, we'd go for it. I don't know if we've ever taken a 5-star with the 338 Lapua though, so that could be kind of cool. I want to make sure he's not just going to turn around. I think he might see us. A little late on that call. I almost want to just sidestep and make that frontal chest cavity shot. Might be okay, but let's do that anyway. Definitely not going anywhere from that. And we've got yet another 5-star elk for the lodge. We've basically filled like all of the upstairs platforms with 5-star Roosevelts. That's pretty darn cool. He actually dropped in an okay spot. Not the best, but we can make do, especially while we're just kind of trying to pass time before we rest back to the next day. And not the best photo ever, but definitely have done worse with all kinds of stuff, really, but let's see for this guy. We did hard shot him with the 338 Lapua. I will be interested to see, like, how far through that round went, but we'll check for now. 93%, so probably lower end. 477 score is not bad. Pretty cool, so let's actually check on this, because this is a way more powerful round than we're typically using, and we can see it punched all the way through just shy of hitting the stomach there, it looks like, which is pretty insane even at 40 yards, but let's tax that. Gonna be good to get something decent on the wall, and we still have a lot of territory to cover. We've seen a bunch of big sitka down here, and frankly, I just don't know a lot of great drink zones for them, so we might as well wander around and see if anything's out in the open in their feed time. So I just wanted to kind of show what typically happens when I blind call an elk, and usually it's this, like a 1-star mature or whatever is going on with this guy, a 2-star mature, and typically I'll just shoot them, or if it's say like a 4-star, I'll just pass it and come back and check on it later. So for a 5-star to actually come in blind like that, that's not really something that normally happens. Usually it is like a 3 or 4-star that we know to then go and check. That was one that I had no clue was in the area, and frankly I wasn't even gonna come down here, but we covered a lot of like the northern part of the map, so that just worked out in our favor. And in attempting to show what typically happens, we also get to take a probably pretty low genetic male out of this herd. That guy was 51%, which, to be fair, he did come into a high fitness call, so that makes sense, but about as low high fitness as you can possibly get. But I figure at this point, it's about 7 p.m., and I think we might as well throw our new elk on the wall. I'm hoping that's not gonna clip through. I think it maybe is okay. I mean, there's a tiny bit of clipping, but that's at least better than what the moose looked like. If he was facing the other way, it would be completely fine, but get a bison up there and we'll be in good shape. But anyway, I do want to go ahead and rest the next day. I don't know if this is going to age things or not, but I at least want to check on that caribou and just see where things are when we go to the next morning. Okay, something has definitely happened, because we did not have 4-star stick deer down here before. 2 of them, in fact, and then that one back there behind them is not bad either. I realized, I don't know why I made it drink time. I don't know where those caribou drink, so we've got some time until we're going to go and check them out. Man, we might finally have a 5-star stick in the making. Both of these guys are 5x5s, and whatever's back there is not a bad one either. If that's like a, say, a 2 or 3-star adult, I'd say there's potential. I think they're maybe moving to where we can see. He is a 3-star mature. That actually may be worth taking out. I would imagine of the 3 bucks here, he's the lowest genetic potential. And I mean, as I just said, we got time to kill. I seriously have no idea where to even look for those caribou, so why don't we go ahead and take him out? I wouldn't be shocked if that was a spine shot, but let's go and see. Hopefully that's worth taking. He is definitely a little bit brown, but I think as a 3-star mature, they can have a bigger set of antlers, so hopefully that's fine. We did not hit the spine, by the way. Just into the right lung at 205 meters and insta-dropped him, 82%. Depends on what the other ones are, that may contribute, and I really don't know how it works, because if you read the encyclopedia, it's not like at least the wording, isn't that it's the average genetics for the herd, it's like average genetics for an area, so I'm really not sure if taking one that high is ever going to help things. If it is herd specific though, those other 2 probably are higher than 82%. He might have a legit shot. This is what was the 3-star mature towards the beginning of this hunt, in this area where I said we only ever used to get like 1-star matures, and like if we just compare these 2, because there's the 2-star a little bit closer, we can very clearly see he's a lot more kind of silvery gray. This guy's got at least a year left. That would be insane if he can make it. I think that's probably also a 2-star, but I can tell this guy's uneven, so let's get him. Again, while this dude's around, we know he's got to have probably 80+% anyway, if not 90+ to potentially make 5-star. Getting these lower ones out of the way and getting their offspring to have that influence of the big one hopefully means more big ones in the future. As for this guy, we shot a little bit high, but plenty to take him down. He was a 56%, so I think it was a 1-star, like 51%, or maybe 57%. He might have been like a younger mature, and then a 2-star 56%. definitely getting those two out of the way with that big one in there is going to help. Well, this is kind of a bummer. We still have a 4-star mature caribou up here, but it looks nothing like the one that we saw earlier, so I'm guessing our 4-star died, and this is the 3-star aged to a 4-star, which unfortunately, he looks pretty gray. I don't expect him to get to 5 stars either, but I just didn't want to make you guys wait any longer to see the result of that particular herd of caribou. I did continue to hunt up until the rest time, and we've shot a bunch of stuff. Hopefully it's going to help out, and we've got a bunch of potential future 5 stars. I mean, we still got that other caribou to check in on. We have the couple of sitka here now. There's obviously like a ton of elk and stuff across the southeast rainforest, but man, I really thought that one may have been it. But we'll have to see what we have for the other ones. I do want to check, like, if there's anything in this herd that's an obvious call animal. This guy here is uneven, so why don't we take him? Definitely not gonna have to track him. Let's mark that just in case there's somehow another big one that we can't see that comes out of there, but I'm pretty confident that one's dead. And you know, it's funny, I said at the start of the hunt that I couldn't believe it had been a month since we hunted Aurora Shores. I want to say this was kind of what happened then, and 66% as a 1-star young. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if that was like the immediate respawn. I don't remember there being a young there, so maybe that is the kind of offspring that replaced the previous 4-star. But anyway, we would have a number of like 3-star caribou, 4-star caribou that I thought maybe would get there, and none ever did, to the point that eventually I think we just went to Nez Perce and stuff for a while. But I feel good about the ones that we have here on this map. I think we've got some 5 stars coming, and we might as well jump back to the trophy lodge, because we did place our elk and we didn't really take a close look at it. And I probably will consider at some stage like swapping between the different elk that we have, because I bet we can find one that won't clip at all, but that's pretty darn close. And like I said, one of those bison, I would imagine by now they're 4-star matures, so if we can get one of those up there, I think this area is going to be looking pretty darn good. And then we need to start replacing all of these guys, like 2- and 3-star mature caribou, hopefully with 5 stars one day. And as we wait for the upcoming update, some rares as well. I would love to get melanistic moose and albino bison in this lodge. We've got all these full body platforms filled with elk and moose. It won't take long to slap them on the wall if we start to see some rares, but I do feel like there's a point in basically every map with Way the Hunter where you put enough hours in, you spend enough time managing your herds, being selective about what you take out, and you hit that point where suddenly 5 stars start to show up. And we've seen a bunch of 5-star elk. I'd say that's pretty common on Aurora Shores, but I think we're getting there with sitka deer, bison, and caribou. So hopefully in the next couple of hunts, we can start to see that effort finally pay off. We've got, I would guess, about 100 hours on Aurora Shores by now. It's usually in that area where things start to really go well. So we'll see if that is indeed the case. It's a little bit different on this map, as I mentioned earlier, without like the areas of private land with really good genes, but it just feels like we're getting to that point. So I'm really excited for the future hunts, and let's see, that guy, he's up in these mountains up here, that 4-star we saw. Maybe he's the one that gets there, and that would be, I think, poetic. But that will remain to be seen, because that is going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.